From the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. This is NITDA Impact, your guide to a digital Nigeria.
Shop local, eat local, spend local, enjoy local. It takes you to start the trend. Support the area where you live, work, and play. It's more like saying embracing Nigeria and showcasing it to the world. Now, dear to President Muhammadu Buhari's heart is boosting local content at all levels. This is part of the President's agenda for Nigeria, and NITDA continues to establish sustainable frameworks for the implementation of indigenous ICT content development and regulation guidelines in Nigeria. Now, for more information on NITDA, kindly log on to our website www.nitda.gov.ng or our social media handles displayed right on your screens. Now, as long as you are using the digital space, you need steady content. This content must be regulated, else the platform will be abused, causing you and everyone else problems. In our special report today, we'll get to see the goal of NITDA in preparing grounds for digital content in Nigeria in the most favorable way. We'll also get to see our special reports and our personality for this week. I wish I could just jump to that segment right now, but what? We have to wait. Again, you can participate in this program by logging onto our website and our social media platforms displayed right on your screen. Now, let's take a look at the stories making the headlines today. Stakeholders engage for review of the National Blockchain Adoption Strategy. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Pantami, launched the Digital Nigeria portal and mobile app in Abuja. Now let's see the news proper.
The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, launched the Digital Nigeria portal and mobile app in Abuja. Dr. Pantami said it was part of the government's key initiatives aimed at empowering innovators and entrepreneurs with the requisite skills to thrive in an emerging digital economy in acquiring cutting-edge digital skills within the comfort of their homes.
Our journey towards developing Nigeria's digital economy commenced officially when Mr. President, our boss President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, approved our request of redesignating the Ministry of Communications to the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, along with an upgrade of the mandate on the 17th of October 2019.
He said the portal has courses which include web development, cloud computing, blockchain, artificial intelligence, and programming, amongst others. The platform will be updated from time to time to equip Nigerians with digital skills, which is in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's administration's agenda for a digitized Nigeria.
The development of our national digital economy policy and strategy for a digital Nigeria has 8 major pillars. Number 1 is developmental regulation. Number 2 is digital literacy and skills. Number 3 is solid infrastructure. Number 4 is service infrastructure. Number 5 is digital services. Number 6 is soft infrastructure. Number 7 is digital society and emerging technologies. Number 8 is indigenous content development and promotion. We have recorded a number of unprecedented achievements since we began the implementation of our in-depth, that is National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy.
Blockchain is the proper way the digital technology keeps all record and information of the businesses carried out in government establishment as well as private sector. The system also enables organizations to create job opportunities, improve efficiency and regulation of legal framework. The Director General NITDA, Kashifu Inwa Abdullahi, said the initiative is geared towards proper documentation, job creation, and most of all, increasing the nation's GDP in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's agenda on tackling unemployment. Kashifu called on all agencies to hit the ground running, saying Nigeria is far behind on the implementation.
The trillion-dollar reasons to rethink blockchain. In the report, they projected that blockchain will add $1.76 trillion to the global GDP in the next 10 years.
Stakeholders at the event reiterate their readiness towards implementation and adoption of blockchain technology.
I hoped and expected that the day will come in Nigeria when we will have such a participative opportunity to contribute to the policies that will drive a very important and interesting technological development.
My message to everybody here is SEC supports this process and we will be willing to contribute everything we have to ensure that this roadmap is successful.
The adoption of the blockchain legal framework is very necessary, not just in Nigeria, but Africa at large. The system is expected to hit the ground running immediately after adoption by government agencies as well as private sector. The aim is to promote legal framework, job creation, as well as improving the GDP of the nation. From NITDA, venue of the event, I am Juliet Dangiwa reporting.
This is NITDA Impact, your guide to a digital Nigeria.
Now let's look at our special report for this week.
Local content, preferably called Nigerian content, is a local value added to the development, design, fabrication, and assembling of ICT products in Nigeria. It is measured in monetary terms as a proportion of production cost or the proportion of indigenous manpower involved in the various stages associated with the provision of an ICT service in Nigeria. Local content establishes a deliberate focus on skills, technology transfer, use of local manpower, and local manufacturing in the ICT, where the needed ICT capabilities can be sourced from within Nigeria and among its indigenous talent. Nigerian ICT goods and services are given priority. The policy has directly led to the creation of jobs and a pool of wealth, saving Nigeria the foreign exchange that would have been spent purchasing these goods and services abroad. It has also prompted the localization of data, hosting of websites and domain names. The guidelines require companies working within the sector to rely on local content and achieve this by providing a clear-cut local content plan. The guidelines also require that original content manufacturers, OEMs, utilize at least 50% local content by value either directly or through outsourcing to local manufacturers engaged in any sector of the product value chain. ICT companies are also required to register entities with predominant representation of Nigerians, up to 51%. The evolution of regulations and guidelines began in the early 2000s when the federal government of Nigeria recognized the need and role of ICT in the development of a digital country. The federal government perceived that ICT was going to be central in the development of a digital country and central to the development of the economy. A circular was passed in 2008 mandating MDAs to patronize made in Nigeria ICT goods and services. In December 2013, NITDA issued the guidelines for Nigeria content development in ICT as a coherent framework for the development of ICT in Nigeria. There are three critical aspects of the guidelines, and they are driving indigenous innovation, developing the local ICT industry, and establishing intellectual property regulation and protection standards. The Office for Nigeria Content Development in ICT was established in 2015, and since then, implementation of the policy has begun in earnest. There was a review of guidelines in 2019 in line with NITDA's mandate to promote the development of IT in Nigeria, and in accordance to the Executive Orders 003 and 005 of the Federal Government of Nigeria for the promotion of indigenous ICT content in the country. The orders empower agencies like NITDA to provide a comprehensive database of verifiable skills and capacities in ICT to ensure only indigenous companies are considered for procurements where capacity is available locally. The Office for Nigeria Content and Development in ICT was established as a sustainable institutional framework to enforce compliance with the regulatory guidelines for Nigeria content development in ICT under the NITDA Act 2007. The strategic role of the ONC is to help develop a truly indigenous ICT industry for wealth creation and local economy through the implementation of guidelines. Through the office, NITDA has so far led 3 compliance actions, and over 220 cases for compliance have been treated to ensure that MDAs comply with the regulations and follow minimum requirements based on the guidelines and other guidelines of NITDA. The office has also facilitated the repatriation of over 98% of government data. To speak further on local content in Nigeria is the National Coordinator, Office for Nigerian Content Development in ICT, Kasim Sodengi, Esquire.
Sometime in the early 2000s, the federal government then, by the then president of the country, President Olusegun Obasanjo, recognized early the need and the role ICT was going to play in the development of a digital country, and he also uniquely perceived that ICT was going to be central to development of the economy. But the question then arose whether Nigeria was going to be an import-dependent country for ICT services and goods, and whether, considering competitive or comparative advantage, Nigeria should play actively in development of the goods and services in ICT, not only for services or goods that Nigeria needed or needs at that time, but also be able to be a net exporter of ICT services. That led to a committee being formed on the enhancement of Nigerian software, considering also the amount of software being consumed by the financial services industry. And then subsequently, a circular was issued in 2008 directing all MDAs, under some framework to patronize made in Nigeria goods and services, ICT goods and services. However, when we fast forward to 2013, there was a need. The circular was a policy of government, it was an administrative and then a policy document, but then it didn't have penalties and didn't have clear obligations for MDAs. Therefore, in 2013, the National Information Technology Development Agency, under the auspices of the Ministry of Communications back then, issued the guidelines, the first guidelines for Nigerian content development in ICT. It was issued as a sustainable framework to drive various aspects of ICT development, to cover indigenous hardware development, to cover indigenous software and software-enabled service development, human capacity development, and the role of multinationals in building local capacity, and also transfer of technology, then data management practices, and then services around telecoms, what is naturally referred to as other aspects of the ICT value chain. In 2015, NITDA set up a vehicle to pay attention and drive implementation of that guideline. The Office for Nigerian Content Development in ICT was therefore established by NITDA, and then the first set of pioneer staff and leadership of the office were recruited by NITDA to drive the implementation of the guidelines. Since then, 2015, the implementation has been in earnest, and in 2019 there was a review of the guideline to align with the Executive Order 003 and 005 issued by the President, which contained provisions for improving Nigerian content or local content as they refer to in those documents. The first was to increase the patronage of local goods and services by MDAs. The second was to also ring-fence certain areas of technology broadly and ICT as part of that, where science and technology, where ICT goods were mandated for purchase or patronage or development in collaboration with MDAs.
As of today, An estimated 98% of government data now sits in indigenous data centers, providing good opportunities and requisite experiences for these centers, improving latency, access to information, ensuring the data sovereignty principles for government-generated data are followed. NITDA is providing strategic support to NOTAP to achieve understanding and deepening the software space in Nigeria. The implementation of strategic policy drive for local content development is a peek into the future in ensuring that all ICT powers that can influence Nigeria are in the hands of Nigerians. Nigerian content policy in ICT means handing the keys of the future to Nigerians.
Microsoft has confirmed vulnerability in Windows operating system affecting every version from Windows 7 through Windows 10. Now, Google discovered the critical flaw which is currently being exploited by hackers. Here's what you can do until Microsoft patch is released. Number 1. If you use Google Chrome, visit only secured sites. 2. Do not download media, games, or apps from third-party sources. 3. Avoid opening attachments and links sent to you by email. 4. Scan your system frequently for malware. Now, on our Startup Lounge this week is a woman who leads a team of vibrant, talented, and passionate youth working together to promote entrepreneurship and innovation as a catalyst to reduce poverty. Adeze Sokan works with Virtuous Platform as the Director of Design, Strategy, and QA. Let's meet Adeze.
Hi, my name is Adeze Shoko and I'm the Director of Design and Strategy at Ventures Platform. I design interventions, policy and programs that support entrepreneurs to create jobs and create access.
Yeah, my name is Mimshako Bioha and I'm the Executive Director of Ventures Platform Foundation, basically creating economic prosperity in Africa by supporting innovators and entrepreneurs solving the hardest problems on the continent.
NITDA has run quite a number of programs that have been insightful and helpful to the ecosystem. They've been able to connect startups to resources and business advisory services through their regular startup clinic programs. They've also provided like an international stage, connected startups to an international audience, exposing them to more funding, more networks, and access to more market through the GITEX program. More insightful one is the NIVE, the National ICT Innovation and Entrepreneurship Vision that is creating an enabling environment for entrepreneurs to thrive by recommending a bunch of policies. So they've done quite a few things in the ecosystem that's making some good strides.
I think for once we have a NITDA or rather an OIE that's more open to collaboration with the ecosystem. Yep. So I'm constantly engaging with the various stakeholders, whether it's the hubs, or the other programs or the investors, and also very interested in creating the relevant policies that would enable the ecosystem to thrive and grow.
Yeah.
But I think that as with governments and anything policy related, it's always quite a hurdle and it's always quite slower than expected. But I think for once we're actually making progress in the right direction. Okay, so I think that hubs play a very critical role in the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem, particularly because of the gaps between academia and industry. So hubs have taken up a very critical role as being part of educators, but also as a support system for entrepreneurs. Nigeria has seen a growing lineup of hubs in the past 3 to 4 years. Currently have over 100 hubs across the country. Almost every state in Nigeria currently has a hub. And what this means is that there is so much more opportunity for access to both infrastructure and support systems, mentoring and training, capacity building for entrepreneurs. But I think the major gap is that for many of these hubs, the people running these hubs have never really built a successful business in the past. So for a lot of them, the hub is their first business and they're trying to figure things out as they go. And they are now trying to also support entrepreneurs, which is quite a laudable task. But without a lot of content, then you still have the same challenge that we're facing as an ecosystem. So I think that it's great and it's a necessary thing to find a way to upskill the hubs, provide them with more access to capacity building or information and services that they will require to also cascade and help the startups in their ecosystems. So I think that supporting hubs at this time and training them and supporting them is a way to exponentially grow the impact on the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. So I think that's a great thing that they're doing, and I think that as long as it's being implemented well, it will have remarkable impact on the ecosystem.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that as well. I think one is smart because they're going to catalyze economic growth, I guess, because they're working through hubs. They have almost 85 or more than 85 hubs in the country. But like he said, how it's implemented is very critical. So teaching them how to support entrepreneurs is great, but also I think most important is helping them be sustainable. How do we help all these hubs be sustainable and create value to the ecosystem? So, digital entrepreneurship is a trigger for any digital economy. According to the World Bank, there are like 5 pillars that make up a digital economy: digital platforms, infrastructure, financial services, skills, entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship, I believe, is the one that can catalyze any digital economy. Why? Because we know that entrepreneurs have the innovations that make societies better. And how do they make society better? They create jobs. Entrepreneurs create jobs. Entrepreneurs create access, that is improving standard of living to the products and services they provide. We've seen entrepreneurs in different sectors of the economy, and leveraging technology just makes that even faster, right? So if we support entrepreneurs, there's research that shows that there's huge impact on the economy in terms of jobs, in terms of revenue growth, in terms of creating access and just improving lives in general. So I would say that digital entrepreneurship plays a critical role, and that should be where development partners, government, so it's really great that NITDA is carving that niche to support grow the digital economy. And CSOs and the private sector need to collaborate to support digital entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think for me, digital entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship in general is the most sustainable way to solve problems. While we have a lot of government programs and initiatives that typically would end with that particular government cycle, so it's typically 4-year terms, and if a government comes back, maybe they extend it for another 4 years, so 8 years at most. Many of these initiatives are not sustainable, which means that a new government comes and starts a whole new set of initiatives, or NGOs and CSOs that would typically work with funding cycles, which are typically a year, and if it's long term, it's maybe 4 years, but then once the funding ends, the program ends, and that intervention or whatever the impact was supposed to create ends with that. But entrepreneurship typically is more much more long-term in its horizon. It's more sustainable, and it continues. It's a gift that keeps on giving typically. And we can use a ton of examples from companies like Paystack that enabled a lot of small businesses across the country be able to accept payments, or M-Pesa that literally transformed the whole economy of Kenya. But we can see how literally you can match entrepreneurship and economic prosperity or economic impact in any society or any community. And I think that digital entrepreneurship particularly now takes a more central stage, especially with COVID-19 and the wave and the state of the world today. One of the things that we've been talking about and clamoring for is the future of work, which is being more digital, more virtual. But I think COVID-19 literally just pushed us into that future. And what we're seeing today is that businesses that have been able to transition or already had business models that were digital in their making have seen tremendous growth in this time, while businesses that need physical engagement and brick and mortar businesses have seen a huge decline at this time. And I think that this is best time more than ever before for us to support more digital entrepreneurs, because literally it would be impossible to run businesses in lockdowns if you don't have digital infrastructure. But then this is where the government has to come in, because there are things required to catalyze the digital economy and digital entrepreneurship. Like, people wouldn't be able to buy online if they don't have access to the internet. Yep. So there's a bunch of stuff around infrastructure, around the relevant policies that would be required to catalyze ecosystem and enable more digital entrepreneurs. So I think that yes, digital entrepreneurship has a direct link to economic prosperity and to the economy, but then there are lots of things that need to be done to ensure that more people can participate in the digital economy.
The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, FNCS, FBCS, FIIM, cordially invites you to the commissioning of the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics, scheduled to hold on Friday, 13th November 2020 by 11 a.m. The center is a federal government intervention under the supervision of Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, facilitated by NITDA to foster the development of emerging technologies and prepare Nigeria for the fourth industrial revolution, in line with the National Digital Economy Policy for a Digital Nigeria. The newly completed center is equipped with state-of-the-art facilities. These include Digital Innovation Lab, Makerspace and Fab Lab infrastructure, printed circuit board facilities, 3D printer, Abuja MIT REAP office, co-working space for startups, and training facilities. This is another milestone in President Muhammad Buhari's economic diversification agenda to unleash Nigeria's prosperity. Announcer Malam Kashifu Inua Abdullahi, CCIE Director General, NITDA.
The National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, is a federal government agency established to develop and regulate information technology (IT) in Nigeria. The agency has opened its application for sponsorships of Nigerian startups to the upcoming 40th edition of Gulf Information Technology Exhibition (GITEX), taking place at Dubai World Trade Center, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, from the 6th to the 10th of December 2020. The agency is therefore calling for innovative technology and technology-driven startups with solutions in the following areas: 5G, artificial intelligence and augmented analytics, transportation, digital economy, cybersecurity and resilience, cloud and edge computing, blockchain technology. Note that all applications will be considered and scored by a panel of judges from within Nigeria technology startup ecosystem based on a set of eligibility criteria. Interested applicants are to visit http://bit.li/nitda-GITEX 2020 to apply. Announcer, Management.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday, 5th February 2018 signed the Executive Order 5 for planning and execution of projects, promotion of Nigerian content in the contract and science, engineering and technology, and NITDA remains your go-to guide for establishing sustainable frameworks for the implementation of indigenous ICT content development and regulation guidelines here in Nigeria. Now, until we come your way next week, on behalf of the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Pantami, and the Director General of NITDA, Malam Kashifu Inua Abdullahi, and also management and staff of NITDA, we say thank you for staying with us. Let's make it a date, same time, same station. I am Dorcas Bello, and bye for now.